Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to Weekend Box Scores, Primary Waves Edition. This is Shooter. Please review our disclosures at the end of the presentation. This week, again, we're trying to stay as tight as we can, just with market conditions. Of course, we've mentioned IIPR. We're just sort of staying in that same spot, but it's a good spot to build a position. NTR, still building that base. Hopefully we get above that breakout line shortly. Intel is still holding its own, still grinding in above that breakout line, maybe heading towards that 41 in the next few weeks. Now, Square is a little challenging here because it's overshot our first count, and we still didn't get a great response from Bitcoin, which, just stay small on Square because we might have just a little more downside there. Now, Google, this is, become a really strong stock at this point. We got earnings this week. I would suspect that we get a decent pop off earnings, but at this point, I think we continue higher. I think we end up seeing a new all-time high out of this leg. So, but the count suggests that, maybe we're going to put in a 133, $3 lower, and then push towards a 143. So it's going to be a little choppy in this neck of the woods here. Now, Amazon, we've added this to, covered calls, just sell some covered calls here. Even though it looks like there's too much of a chance that we continue to break down here a little bit. So you want to let alone insulation. Now, below the 200-day, I would be trimming a little bit and plan on buying something back, because notice if we do break down, in other words, we're getting some price rejection up here. The 50% back an original move is where we could go as far as a complete rollover. So, we could be back at $100. You could get a little cheaper price, maybe, I think, if we do break below the 200. Now, Apple, still hold with covered calls. Nothing really's changed there. I do expect this to extend a little bit lower. Maybe not this earnings. It may not be till next earnings, but, we might be in this leg for an extended period of time. And Microsoft covered calls, maybe around the 350 range. Stay tight 60 days. I wouldn't go too far out with those. As far as I'm saying that it's Apple too, I would stay tight 60 days. Now, Amazon, I would probably stay a little tighter if I wasn't out already a little further in time. I would stay around 45 days on Apple. Only reason is because I think there's a chance the market turns if the Middle East gets a little bit reprieve, or, Israel goes into Gaza and gets it done. Now BRKB, has a little more downside here. Now, this is, equality, looking at this from an ABC. A, B, C, is here. So extended is down here around 300. Elongated is down around 270. So we got some decent downside potentially on BRKB. Now, KKR, maybe 53, that broke down. Boy, from holding its own really to be when our leaders start failing, it's telling us something. This market is just looking for a reason to roll over. Be very candid. So, if you have common shares still, sell some covered calls around 60, 65. Again, stay about 60 days out. PLTR, now, positive chart. Earnings are this week, so we could get a pop out of it. So I would wait for earnings. But once earnings comes out, the count is, 90% of the time, the count is right on direction. So, it's hard to go against that. Trend doesn't break until we get below that trend support line. So maybe sell some covered calls right after earnings at around $20 just to insulate, so you can continue to hold. Stag, I also brought it into that picture here because that was a little bit too of aggressive candle. Here again, around 38, sell some covered calls there. And Shop has now hit the list as well. So, break below that 8-day, we got some downside, looking at maybe 40, 45. So, again, sell some covered calls, or, if it does break down on the breakdowns, don't hesitate to put a couple bucks in, do the weekly puts. Now, how I suggest doing this is you buy it on Monday, right at the money or a little bit below, just a little out of the money, not too deep. So you're not taking that much heat. And you sell them on Thursday by noon. And the reason is because your premium is just going to be annihilated by then. If it goes against you, you should be stopped out anyways. So just run a 50% trailing stop on those. If it gets taken out, it gets taken out. If not, rinse and repeat, and you do it again. But that's what we have for this week, folks. Great trading. Until next time.